Yo, hey, good evening, folks. Welcome to Debate the News on this Friday, on this Wednesday, the fifth day of March 2025. Got a really good show for you guys tonight, man. Elon Musk is advocating for the release of Derek Chauvin. For you guys that don't know who Derek Chauvin is, that is the cop who's currently incarcerated for the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we're going to talk about that tonight. That should be a pretty interesting show, folks. So, hey, join us here. Hey, if you listen to us live right now, download the Chatter social app on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, guys. Let's get this thing going. That was a man, oh man. Daphne Christine, how you doing, first of all?
I'm doing great. Can you see me okay? I'm getting messages.
Excuse me?
Can you see me on screen?
Yes, I see you, absolutely. So, hey guys, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty
I,
good tonight, John.
That's good. Hey guys, we got a pretty exciting show, a controversial show, and hopefully our audience can handle it. Hopefully you guys can handle it, because something pretty controversial happened the other night. It was the other day, yesterday. Elon Musk retweeted a tweet from Ben Shapiro. I don't know if you guys know who Ben Shapiro is, but Ben Shapiro was advocating for the pardon of Derek Chauvin, the Minnesota police officer, Minneapolis, Minnesota police officer that's currently incarcerated for the murder of George Floyd. So it has a lot of people talking, a lot of people speaking, especially given Elon's proximity to the president. But before we go there, I want to go ahead and get this thing started, man, because we've had some. Wow, we have a lot that we can discuss. So I want to go. I want to do a couple of datelines. I want to make sure my man Storm is here. Storm, are you here? Storm going twice. All right, so Storm's not here. I'm going to go over to Skull. Skull, are you ready for a dateline, sir?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it, Skull.
Okay, last night we had the joint session address of Congress. We had numerous members of Congress stand up and make their opinions heard, but only a single congressman was willing to stand up enough that he got escorted out. The rest just kind of held up little signs, like little post-it notes saying, like, we're resisting. I mean, the most shameful display of civil disobedience I've ever seen. You know, if you want to engage in civil disobedience, do it the right way. Get out there, protest, make your voices heard, become a little bit of a problem, folks. I mean, that's really what civil disobedience is about, right? So, I mean, I think it's pretty shameful that the Democrats just held up signs saying this isn't normal. Well, if it isn't, buddy, why don't you go do something about it, okay? And that's coming from me, who just wants to see the Democratic Party come together, learn from their many past mistakes, and begin to represent the American left and the American worker, right? We did have a address afterwards that I think was really good. I think it spoke a lot to the actual needs of the average Americans and the concerns of the average Americans. And we had a much more fiery presentation that was given today by Bernie Sanders that's out there on social media as well. When it comes to the news, we've got a few things going on. We've got Letnick. I don't exactly know what this guy does. Scott Bessett's like the only guy in the administration that actually, has degrees from Ivy Leagues, worked as an economist. I don't know what Letnick's background is or why he's even qualified to talk on the economy, but he seems to think that Trump might be walking back the tariffs. And, obviously, this is in result to the massive market sell off that occurred as Trump has tried to implement tariffs on our closest trading partners, geographically speaking, and as well as financially speaking, Canada and Mexico. Additionally, the big three CEOs went down there and they said, hey, this is not going to work for us, right? Automotive parts cross the border all the time, folks, maybe a dozen times during the course of building a single vehicle. you'd be talking $10,000, $20,000 more for a new car, and obviously that doesn't work. And Trump has agreed to hold off on the tariffs for the automotive sector specifically. These are the kinds of carve outs I talked about in previous shows that normally happen on tariffs. It seems to be that we're doing them after the fact this time instead of thinking through before we say things. So that's where we're at now. Speaking of thinking things through, he said that Elon Musk was the head of Doge. There's already a bunch of lawsuits about that. I'm not even going to get into that, but that is a problem. And then lastly, the Supreme Court has ruled that all 6,000 USDA employees that were let go are going to be back on the job, and the $2 billion cut from USAID has to start being reallocated again. So, that's against the 1974 impoundment clause. I told you guys there is a way to do this, and there is a way to not do this. And they have selected the latter, right? They are just going out there guns blazing with no regard for the process against the largest bureaucracy on earth. That is not going to go how you think it's going to go, folks. And I land.
Wowzers, wowzers, wowzers. Man, so you mean all 6,000 of the U.S. aid workers have to come back to work? Have to? Is that what you're saying? I want to just be clear on that.
That was USDA, to be
Oh,
clear.
USDA. Okay, now USAID. Okay.
USDA, yeah. USAID, they ruled that the $2 billion that was budgeted for it, they have to keep distributing it, right? To at least $2 billion worth of it has to start being redistributed again to foreign countries. So, that's
That
yeah,
was a
two.
five. That was a 5-4 ruling, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So
And I guess Amy Colbert Barrett was on the opposite side because they started referring to her as a DEI hire today. Did you guys? I don't know if you heard that. MAGA started to refer to Amy Colbert Barrett as a DEI hire.
I
Um,
heard it. I heard it because she was part of the five.
mhm.
It was
So
horrible.
yeah. So once again, you know, white women wake up. I told you, you guys aren't safe either. You guys aren't safe either. So they're starting a campaign to call her a DEI hire, and that's horrible. You know, I think she wants to do her job. And I'm not an Amy Colbert Barrett fan, but she's made some very fair rulings. And I say it fair because it benefited my perspective. So I may be a little biased there, but it seems that she's willing to do what she thinks is right and not what she thinks that people want. So that's shout out to Amy Colbert Barrett, guys, because I think MAGA is going to come after her, but she's in there for life, so she has nothing to worry about. Wow. And you also said something else. Wow. Oh, the automobiles. I was speaking to a friend, Cindy Stumpo, today, and she was adamant, like, "Hey, leave them on there. They'll sell the car to someone else." I'm like, Cindy, there was a gentleman that was buying an $80,000 pickup truck, and he decided not to buy it because it cost $20,000 more, and he was on Fox, and one of the Fox anchors, was going at it with him and pretty much shaming him for not being able. Cindy, there she is, Cindy Stemples here, and Cindy, Cindy, what say you? What say you now?
No, I'm gonna say the same thing I said to you earlier. We were paying $20,000, $30,000 through COVID for F-350s over sticker, F-250s, F-150s. That's what I said to you earlier. So what, you want to tell me about one guy on Fox News? Really? Then don't buy the truck. If you can't afford the 80,000, what was the original price again? 80?
It was
It
80,
went,
and after the
and
tariffs,
now
it
it
was
went to
100.
100. Please.
Okay, Cindy. Hey guys, I gotta put a poll up before we get started.
I agree with Cindy.
I gotta put a poll up. So anyway, I want to know if you agree with Cindy. Okay, that's what I want to do.
What are
Because
they agreeing or not agreeing with?
about don't buy the truck. I mean that you. I think
Dude,
you're
no
saying that
disrespect here, but if you can stroke a check for 80,000 for a truck, you can stroke a check for 100,
no,
okay?
Cindy. People
Yeah,
are
it's
getting
not what.
financing. People
Oh,
getting
people
financing.
finance it.
If you're
Okay.
stressed
So
out at 80,000, you shouldn't be getting it at 80,000.
Agreed.
so No. That's people have budgets. People have budgets. So there it is, guys. Do you agree with Cindy? If you can afford 80, you can afford 100. There
But
you
that's not
go.
even, that's not really the conversation,
What's the
okay?
conversation?
The conversation is if your vehicles are going to go up because they're made outside the country and not here, right? Let's talk about that.
It's
Let's
a
talk
Dodge,
about
by
the
the way. It's a
tax
Dodge.
break.
It's a
Let's
Dodge.
talk about the tax break that he's trying to implement if you buy a car made in America. You have 100% write off. You don't have 100% write off right now. Us as construction workers, yes, we do. We can write off our trucks, 1,000%. But you can't write off your cars. You might be able to write off miles working, so many miles a year, whatever, some of your payments, but you can't write off 100%. Look, I said this earlier, Jonathan. They're not going to put tariffs on everything.
They did.
Everything. No, but they weren't. And we knew that. If he was going to pull that move, he could exclude things out of that. He could say, okay, Canada, no, we're not going to do it on lumber. We're not going to do it on energy. We're not going to do it on this, but we're going to do it on this, this, and this.
The
Just
tariffs on
saying,
the
we talked about this before. Just because you start to say one thing doesn't mean it's all going to get bunched into it. But I told you earlier, I don't think we should have done this, and I'm sticking to that. He should
Absolutely.
have went for talking about uh, saving people taxes first in America, and then lead in after he does that into this. He did the opposite way. I don't approve.
Absolutely. Hey, now, Cindy, before I let you go, before we get to the topic, give me one local story that has come out of Boston in the last week or so.
Oh, jeez, it's been all about Mia Wu. That's all that's been being discussed.
Okay, give us one story from Boston. Let's do it. One
That's
local.
it. What she did, what how she sided with the criminal that literally. And remember, I'm still here in
We're
Florida,
not from
so
Boston. We don't know what she did. That's why I asked for one local.
come on, it's been all over the place. She got
No,
pulled
we
into,
don't know, Cindy. That's why that's why we're emphasizing local
and I
stories
can't
now.
give you 100% on it either because I only have the
No,
news
okay, just
down
give us
here.
a quick overview. That's all.
Supposedly, she apologized to the family of the person that was chasing the two people with a knife, and whoever had the knife got shot and died. And she was apologizing to the criminal's family that the cops shot the guy that was holding the knife, chasing two people out of Chick-fil-A. So that's what I know.
Whoa. So wait. So a guy was in Chick-fil-A, had a knife, chased someone with a knife.
Two
Two
other
people with a
people
knife.
just
The
stabbed
police
them.
came and pew-pewed him, right? All right. And
Listen, don't put words in my mouth. I don't know how it went down. I'm not in
no, but
Boston
I'm
to
talking about you.
actually hear.
Well, you said the police pew-pewed him. He got
Yeah,
shot
the
and died. About the
police. Yeah,
police, yeah.
I have no idea who got hurt, who didn't get hurt. I have no idea. I haven't been in Boston. I'll find
And then
out. I
she
go later on.
apologized to the knife person family. Anyone knows anything about that story? Anyone? All right, so you don't.
We're, can let's get to the topic of the room, please.
No, Dr. Captain, don't ever do that, please. Respectfully, don't ever do that again. All
Ray,
right,
question real fast.
She's
don't.
excited.
Did
She's
the
excited.
Mia will get called in
Okay,
front of
we're gonna get to
Google?
the topic. Yeah, yeah. Don't ever do
Yeah.
that again.
So and that's
Respectfully.
it. Mia Wu got called in front of Congress today.
Wow, did she? That's good. Okay, one second. Yeah, guys, listen to me. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do what we want to do. That was out of line. Don't ever do that. Respectfully, I have a lot of respect for you. You know that. Don't do that. That was way beyond disrespectful. So with that being said, Cindy, hmm, a lot of people agree with you, Cindy. There you go. There you go, Cindy. Actually, more people agree with you than not.
I'm
All
wondering,
right.
Cindy. Let me just ask really quick though, Cindy. What do you think? Do you think those tariffs will affect like the big corporations differently than small businesses?
Again, I want to see them go on. Let's even see if they go on, right? And if they do go on, and if they're on, let's see what they carve out and what they put into it. Ray and I both believe that not everything's going to get done, right? They will exempt some things. Now, what they exempt, I don't know. I'm not a politician. I'm not behind the scenes. I can't tell you. But
They'll exempt what they buy stock in.
Joe,
It's true.
let's stop that, okay? But whatever. If you want to be sarcastic, be sarcastic. Why don't you just wait and see how it plays out, and then we can debate it. But again,
That's fine
I don't
too.
know. I have a problem with the Canada, so I have a major problem with that one for sure. They've been nothing but our friends. We've never had a problem with Canada. They're not hostile people. So that's been an issue for me from day one. And America does a lot of business, and especially contractors, builders, developers, so on and so on.
All right, good stuff, guys. So anyway, Dr.
I
Catherine,
have
guess
a
what?
I have a
Go ahead.
problem with Canadians. Why are they so boring?
What
Okay,
was that, Big Rob?
one second, one second. No, Rob, don't do that. All right. Jesus fucking Christ. All right, Dr. Catherine, we're getting to the topic. All right, guys. So Elon Musk yesterday advocated for the release, well, the pardoning, okay, through Shapiro, Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro wrote a tweet, did a tweet, and said that Derek Chauvin, the cop that was that's currently, and the reason I'm going to frame it this way is because of the topic that we have at hand. The police officer that's currently incarcerated for the murder of George Floyd
Hmm.
should be pardoned because he's not responsible for the death of George Floyd. That he did not actually kill George Floyd. What killed George Floyd was the fentanyl, and Elon retweeted that tweet, pretty much in support of Derek Chauvin being pardoned by President Trump. Now, one thing I have to make clear here, folks, is Derek Chauvin, not he does have federal charges, okay? I think he had 21 and a half years federal time, if I'm not mistaken. I'll verify
Correct.
that. I'll
Correct.
verify one second. I'll verify that shortly. Okay, but he has 22 years, I believe, state time. So even if President Trump were to pardon him on the Fed time, the state of Minnesota would have to also pardon him on the state time. So, and that can only be done with the governor. So, with that being said, let's jump right into it, man, because I think most of America, I can't say all, watched that videotape, and so and a lot of Americans believe that Derek Chauvin committed a crime and committed a crime of murder on that videotape. Now there are some Americans that do not believe that believes that Mr. Floyd, George Floyd, died because of the fentanyl that he had in his system. In fact, Ben Shapiro, I think, alluded to the fact that when he was in the back of his car, in the back of the car, he couldn't breathe. So with that being said, matter of fact, Andrew, you jumped on mic. Since you're there, front and center, I'm gonna
Yeah.
toss to you, my man. Go ahead.
Well,
Let's have this conversation.
let's just clear it up real quick. Elon Musk did not say he agrees with it. Okay, he's a free thinker. He can think for his damn self. Okay, he reposted the video, and all he said was, "It's something to think about." Okay, if you haven't watched Ben Shapiro's argument, you can go and listen to it. He does make some good points, but I'm going to tell you, I went back. So I had never seen the George Floyd video. I went back and watched it. It's very hard to watch. It's very hard to watch, and he's not innocent. Okay, I agree. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with the autopsy report. Okay, he definitely did have drugs in his system, whatever. But that's not, you know. Anyway, I just want to say Elon Musk is not saying that he should be pardoned. He was just saying, look, this is what Ben Shapiro is saying. You know, I mean, it was going to be out there anyway. So I just want to clear that up
Okay.
because, and I felt
Andrew,
like I needed to do that because he is so close to the president, and I want to get it straight. Don't get it twisted.
Dr. Catherine, go ahead. Is that Dr. Catherine that's speaking?
no, it was Shauna that wanted to ask a
Okay,
question.
one second. Andrew,
Sorry.
can you get Andrew, come back up here then. Um, Andrew, when you retweet something, okay, you're retweeting it, and you say it's something to think about. Okay, that is definitely in support of. All right, uh, that's definitely in support. When you have that kind of, I think he has over 200 million followers.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
when
don't
you
think you know his style. When he definitely is supporting something, he'll repost it and just write something like yes,
no,
or he'll say, uh, whatever, like affirmative. Don't
no,
read it into more than what he says.
okay, definitely something to think about. Okay.
He didn't say
Uh,
definitely. He just said something to think
Something to
about.
think about. Anyone else that has a different opinion than Andrew? Anyone else want to jump in on this?
I
Yeah,
have a different
I
opinion.
cannot think that that tweet reminds me it's in the same category as saying that there is a transgender mouse. I'm done.
What the hell?
Okay.
What did he say?
Yeah,
A what mouse?
a
Look,
transgender mouse. All right, guys, listen to me. Anyone else? Because I don't want to put
yeah,
my
John,
opinion
that
out
should
there.
have never been retweeted. It gives people, it sends a bad signal. I don't like it. It sends a bad sign. I don't care how he words it. Okay. I don't care how many drugs the guy had in his body. That should have never happened. Put the guy in the back of the police car, arrest him, take him off to jail. Period. That's
Yeah,
it.
100%.
I
I
think
think
this
Oh,
that
is
but
even
this.
I
I
think
don't
that
want this
even
to.
if
Go ahead, Sean. I'll go after you.
I was just gonna say, I think even if Elon had tweeted without even making a comment, that's enough to for his followers to think the same. So whatever he wrote above the tweet or however you do that, I don't know because I don't have it, but it's still putting a stamp of approval. And now there's gonna be people all up in arms about it.
what's going to throw people up in arms, in my opinion, is because the guy wasn't like this great guy. Let's call it what it is. I mean, he wasn't a superhero. He did put a gun to a pregnant woman's belly. You know, the guy had a rap sheet long. But again, with all of that, you don't have the right to do what that cop did, period. So now what? You're going to have people flipping it
Can I?
and the narrative changing, you know.
Listen, the
Hold
cop was
on,
a
Can
Brian.
nasty.
I?
Brian.
Can I?
Brian.
Cassie was
Can
a
I say
nasty
something?
fuck.
I tried to go after Sean. I let. I
well,
let.
hey, I want to get Benstock. I want to get a different perspective because everyone, go ahead. Right now, it seems like
Can,
you,
can,
Cindy, and
can,
Shauna all had the
I
same
didn't even
perspective.
say anything yet. I let Sean. I yielded for Sean. I'll be
Uh,
short. I just
okay,
don't want people to fall victim and start hitting the streets and protesting. We need to just be vigilant and just relax and see how this plays out because, again, this could be bait to get people riled up. We need to just relax. I think most Americans know and the world knows that Derek Chauvin deserves to be behind bars. Go ahead, Ben Stott.
Yeah, no, the guy deserves to be behind bars. We all know the cop that's like that. I have no belief that he intended to kill the guy, but intent's not really the issue here. That was the end result. Get the guy back. That was it.
lost them.
all right, who wants to jump in?
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, so let's meet Benstock, guys. Someone meet Benstock. I want Shauna to go. Shauna's been trying to go.
Damn, damn.
Shauna going twice. All right, jump in, sir. Go ahead,
Okay,
Rob.
yeah. I'm gonna give you a different perspective. It's that why it doesn't surprise me. I mean, this dude's a foreigner.
Okay,
Came,
Rob, your camera, your microphone's bad. We're gonna move on from you as well. All right, you come back when you can get off your earpiece or your earphone or your Bluetooth or whatever it is. We'll come back to you guys. So here's the deal, folks. Anyone else wants to jump in? That's cam that is microphone ready. That is Wi-Fi ready. I would love to have your perspective. What we're speaking about is Elon. We're speaking about Derek Chauvin and everyone else. Go ahead, Ben Stock. Are you back?
Chauvin.
Yeah, Benstock, I'm gonna mute you out. I'm gonna mute you. I yeah, you're bad. Anyway, who else is waiting to jump in?
I just want to
Hey,
clarify
Jonathan, I'm going to
something,
go ahead and jump in
Francis.
here really quick because I just want to get my quick perspective that I'm not hearing being spoken about. So basically, we are starting to think that Elon Musk doesn't know what he's doing because he's on some kind, he has a spectrum disorder. He doesn't mean this, that didn't mean that. He didn't do a Hitler salute. Listen, they are trying to lay out to the American to the American people a case for police immunity. We heard it last night from Trump. He wants police officers to be able to do their jobs, to be able to kill who they want to kill, to not be, bounded, by the laws of this nation, because this is the plan that they have and some things they have coming up. This was done intentionally. This was done intentionally, and they want the police to know that, hey, you're not going to be held responsible if you go out there and take a life. Our country is at war. whether we know it or not, and martial law is being called upon as citizens. And so we're going to see more of this. And I just believe this is on the road to get police officers complete immunity in the same way that the president has done for himself.
Okay,
Well,
this is
first of
absolutely
all,
right.
the president didn't give himself immunity. Oh, you mean Biden? I got that, but you got the guys confused. Chauvin's actions led to the death of George Floyd. Period. And so he needs to stay his ass in jail. Was this exploited by the left? 100%. More people died as a result of George Floyd's death than necessary. And they weren't martyrs, they were riot victims. Okay, that one thing doesn't justify the other. George Floyd should have never died. Did he do bad things in his life? 1,000%. That cop, and we all know that white cop. I know white cops like that. They lean in too hard. They're too nasty. They got a gun and a badge. That is the minority of police officers, thankfully. But we all know those guys are so jaded by what they do. A dear friend of mine when I grew up, nice guy, calm guy, regular guy. He goes on the job, and after a couple of months, he's cursing. He's angry all the time because most of the people he dealt with 24 hours a day were the worst of the worst of the worst. But that doesn't mean that all people are the worst of the worst. And his whole fucking outlook on life was jaded because of the people he was around. And I don't know about this cop directly, but it seems he had that same kind of attitude, real supreme, real aggressive, and it resulted in George Floyd dying. So that shouldn't happen. But no, we're not at war with each other, young lady. Do you go to work and see white people and want to fight? Because I don't go to work and see people of color that I work with and want to fight. In the streets, on the job, we're normal. But it's on apps like this and on television that everyone wants to rile us up. And you riled up, you walk into a supermarket and you see a white person and you get in their face and come up on them. I don't think so. I hope not. And the vast majority of white people don't do that to people of color. The vast majority.
Yeah. Hey,
So
Brian,
Benstock,
Brian,
you
one second.
brought
We're
in.
not we're
Give
not
me
at
one second,
war.
Jonathan. Let me answer this. Benstock, you brought in race. I didn't say anything about race. You brought in race. I
Well,
wasn't talking about
what
race.
exact
I'm
what
talking
exact
about the
war?
American
What war?
government. Hold on,
Let her
listen to me.
speak.
I
Let her
listen to
speak,
you,
Brian.
so you listen to me. I'm talking about the American government on their citizens. I did not bring up race. I'm talking about the American government on their citizens and the people that inhabit this country. And let me
Which
be clear.
government?
Hold on,
Let me.
Benstock. Hold
What
on one
government?
second. Wait a minute. Hold on one second, Benstock. Let me make one point and then you can rock out for the rest of the night. When I said that Trump gave presidential immunity to himself, I stand on that because he put those Supreme Court justices in place to make sure that he would be able to have it so that when he was reelected, he could do whatever the fuck he wanted. And I land.
He ain't one. He didn't know. There's a history with the Supreme Court of you elect a liberal to the Supreme Court and they vote conservatively and vice versa. So you never know how that's going to cut. Nobody has given him immunity. In fact, it was the Biden administration that allowed the government to attack with force their citizens. Biden passed that, not Trump. As far as
Thanks, Brian.
as far as a war against people, this government. I think this government's not against us right now. Not at war with us. I think they're at war with those cronies that were in charge of the system. This very system, the Republicans and Democrats, that spent all that wasteful money of yours and mine with no accountability. And I love accountability in it.
Where's the war?
Elon Musk is a loose cannon. Elon Musk is someone who's used to having things his own way. He's an African American that came out of an environment and a family of privilege that allowed him to have things his own way. And when you're in government, it doesn't work that way. So, his statements are his statements. He has no political power. He has influence, but no political power.
So Brian, let me ask you a question. Are
Can
you in
I?
that storm? One second. Are you in that storm, man? Because that sounds like that rain's coming down hard, bro.
It's coming down hard, man. The hard rain's coming down. We're in a political storm right now. But I got to tell you, hey, John, we know some of the same people. We know some of the same people. And I think it's going to be a little bit bumpy. But I am telling you, the big money is on the sidelines waiting. This economy is going to explode. So if you want to be sitting there, fuck the government, fuck this, fuck that, go right ahead because things are going to get great. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, when the tide is low, that you set your fishing nets up to succeed. This is the time. And if you want to sit there and miss
We've
it,
heard this
it's going to be
before.
on you.
We've heard this
I
before.
lived through this. Hey, John, I'm a
We've
little
heard that
older than you,
before.
maybe a lot older than you. I saw this with the first 2 years of Reagan, year and a half. He came in and things went down as they was setting stuff up. His own people were turning against him, Stockman, voodoo economics, and all of a sudden, the things he did hit. I have that cup too.
I
I
got it
have
because
that.
you had it. Cheers, Brian. Glad to see you back.
Okay, I hate to be a
It's
downer, but
going
is
Okay.
attrition
and
fun too?
I think so many. I was out to dinner with the
You're
CEO
in the
of
matrix,
a
Brian.
public corporation.
Because I'm meeting. You're in the
Oh, I'm
matrix.
sorry
You're
to
in the
hear
matrix.
that.
You're in the matrix. So, hey guys, real quick. So, yeah, guys, wow. So there we are. We've had it's starting off a little hot and heavy over here, guys. So, with that being said, hey, yeah, let's have this discussion because who first of all, you know what? I got to do an anonymous poll here, man.
Wait.
And you know, as we speak, anyone else wants to jump in really quick and contribute while I put this poll up?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I want to jump in real
I
quick.
would like to. I
Yeah,
would like to jump
wait.
in.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Check your mods.
Go,
There are
go
some.
ahead, Rob. Go ahead. What 10? 10? Is that
Yeah,
10?
yes, sir.
I can't tell.
Yeah, 10. That's 10. Go ahead,
Yeah,
10. Go
yeah,
10.
yeah. You have to
Wow.
check some of your mods, because there are some mods in here that don't like me. More, you know that right now, right?
Okay.
Wait. It's
Check,
10.
check,
Oh
check
Lord,
them,
it's about to
check
go
them.
Go
off.
ahead. One mic. One mic,
We
Rob.
like you
You
during the
hear him?
podcast. Go ahead. Sir.
You hear him? You heard the one him say, "Oh, it's 10. Oh Lord," you hear him? Some of them don't
We
like
hear
when I
you.
speak. But anyway, let me say this: the brother that spoke a while ago, you see the double speak that comes out of his mouth. That is how they were able to fool up the American people. Oh, the Democrats are the ones that did this. Joe Biden is the one that was putting his feet on the American people. But the Republicans are the ones that are doing this and they are doing that. That double speak, brother. You see, let me tell you something. It is a fake thing that these MAGA people do, right? They will blame
Hello,
them.
folks.
They will blame MAGA people. They will blame Republicans. Pretend like they're blaming Republicans, but they really hate Democrats. Let me tell you something. Joe Biden didn't do anything like what Trump is doing right now. What Joe Biden was doing was going after the January 6 people who wanted to take away your votes. That's what Joe Biden was doing. Who is Trump going after now? Who? Who is bothering the democracy right now? Trump has military people in your streets. The military people are at the border of your country. Military is
Where
not
do you
supposed to
see
be.
military people in our streets, sir?
Yo,
Yo,
The
no, one
border.
second.
listen,
They're
One,
at
one,
man.
the
one,
Listen, man.
border.
one second, guys. CH, please. CH, please. Because I don't want to have to shut down the whole CH. Go ahead. Mod that, please, properly. Go ahead.
Yeah. What
10.
I'm saying is that the military is doing work inside the United States border right now. Trump, they are at the southern coast of Texas. They're inside the United States doing operations. They are not supposed to. That is unconstitutional. You guys didn't know that, right? They are not supposed to be used to block that border. You're supposed to use people
So,
who are for
did
the
that cause George
immigration
Floyd
people.
death?
Right now, that's what's going on right now in your country. You don't realize that military is on your streets right this second. This is the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to be very clear about this. All right. Trump lied about the Social Security, right? That there were millions of people over 100 years old. Trump lied that they sent $300 billion to Ukraine. That was a lie. You know what I'm saying? Trump lied about the immigration issue. Trump, how many people has he deported? Couple thousand? Couple thousand? There's
Yeah, but
11
ten,
mil.
10.
There's
Respectfully,
11. Wait,
how
let me finish. Let me finish.
did
Let me just finish.
George
Let me finish.
Floyd's death? We're speaking about George Floyd's death. So we're trying to figure out. I mean, how did he die? Who was responsible for it? And Elon's, retweet.
No, the deal.
Did, what are your
No,
thoughts on that?
my thoughts on that is
Hey guys, by the way, guys, we have a poll there, and the poll is very simple. How did George Floyd die? And there's three choices there, guys. I'm very interested to see what this audience says. There's three very fair choices there. Guys, vote on that poll. Vote on that poll. Vote on that poll. All right, come on, guys. We can do a lot better. There's a lot more people in here than that's responding to that poll. Ten, go ahead.
yeah. Let me
You
just
got 40 seconds. Let's do it.
let me speak on that. Yeah, as you can see, Elon Musk is the fact that he even mentioned it goes to show you that this administration don't have no respect for black people. None. All right. Black people are going wealth. Black people's what worth is going to fall under this administration. I guarantee it.
Okay. All right. All right. So
Yeah, did you look
here's
at this poll? I'm really
Can
surprised.
can can can, can I go next? Can I go next, please?
Rob, please don't
Yeah,
do
you
that.
can definitely go next.
One.
I was just
Oh,
looking
oh,
at
I'm
this.
sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know
No,
it was
no,
you.
no,
I'm
you're
sorry.
okay. I'm just saying I was looking at this poll here and I was surprised by how many people thought that it was both police and fentanyl. That surprises me. It says, out of the 60 some
Yeah. We
responses.
don't do the results of the poll until the very end of the poll.
Yeah,
So, yeah, guys, yeah, let's jump back to it, guys. Yeah.
you
So
guys
once
better
again,
keep voting. I want to get to the
Thank you.
results.
yeah,
Hey,
Go
Jonathan
ahead,
and
Big
Leon,
Rob.
I can chime
I
in.
want to go to
Thank you.
Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Okay. First of all, hope
Oh,
everybody
the other
is having
Rob.
a wonderful
Okay.
day. All I gotta say is this: I think people shouldn't be surprised that he feels this way about the George Floyd thing because look where he comes from. He came from apartheid South Africa, where they used to beat and they used to beat, get away with murder, SA, and a bunch of stuff to the African people for decades. So why are we surprised? Why are we surprised? A lot of his family members are probably in the military anyway, the apartheid military anyway, where they got away with monstrosities when not only they did to people in South Africa for years, they did to people in Namibia. They tried to go in Angola and establish a government, establish influence over there. So why are people surprised? This is where he comes from. He's a colonizing foreigner. He's basically a a freaking white supremacist with an accent. That's what he is. And just remember that Trump said in the past that he wants to give immunity to police officers. This is their goal. And this is one of their goals to give immunity to police officers without reproach. That's all I gotta say. I'm done. Have a nice day.
All right, there. All right, guys. So the polls ended. 50% says police only, and then we have 8%, which is of the people said fentanyl alone killed them, and that's a decent number of people here. And then we have, when I look at this right here, 23% says both. It was a combination of police and fentanyl. All right, so definitely want that. So I want to make sure that we acknowledge that there's a fair amount of people here. 31% of the people here believe that fentanyl had something to do with his death. Either it contributed to it, or it contributed to it, or it was the cause of it. So once again, that's a fair amount of people. 31% of the people here in this room believe that, or the people that voted on this poll at least. So who's that's coming off mic?
It's Rachelle.
Okay, Rachelle, let's go, Rachelle. Okay,
You,
I can't do
you,
y'all back to back. All of you, Rachelle, then do someone else,
We
and I'll
about to
come back to
kill
you, the
him to
God.
God. Okay, so we're in interesting times. March 7th, coming up this weekend, is going to mark the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. Don't know if everybody know what Bloody Sunday is. That's when there was a march in Selma, Alabama for voting rights, and they were brutalized, dogs sicked on them, water hose, beaten with batons. Some people died, some people nearly died. But the thing that happened is it was televised. Because it was televised, the world went crazy behind seeing before their eyes what had happened. After that, of course, we know what happened. Dr. King went back and did another march. LBJ eventually signed the Voting Rights Act into law. Fast forward to George Floyd. It it was televised. People saw it before their eyes. You saw this police officer put his foot on that man's neck and mash down and mash down and mash down as he was being aggravated by the woman who was actually recording. He literally kept applying more and more and more pressure. So he intended to kill him because I don't know what anyone think would have happened. So the police officer, Chauvin, he is a culprit. And in respect to the Democrats, since Benstock wants to bring that up, we're the only ones that created the George Floyd Policing Act that we still have been trying to get passed, that won't be passed, that has not been passed. And what does that do? It creates a national database of all these crooked, criminal, homicidal, killer cops who profile people and kill them so they can't jump around from city to city, state to state when they're run out of the position that they're in for committing these heinous acts. It creates an actual board that simply will come up with rules, legislation, and laws for this type of behavior. So that's literally what we've been trying to do is to get that particular act passed. So yeah, it was the police officer's fault. Whether George Floyd had cocaine, marijuana, mollies, whatever you want to call it, in his system, the foot to the neck and the crushing caused his death. Go ahead, to God.
No, 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 no. We're not passing off to the God just yet. The God, I'll come back to you. Yeah, guys, listen to me once again. Hey, if you're listening to us out there in podcast land, whether you're on TuneIn Radio or iTunes or um, iHeart, um, Apple, Spotify, guys, listen to us. This is I mean, we're able to have these kind of conversations amongst ourselves. There's a very, very diverse group of people here socioeconomically, when you look at gender, you look at age, demographically, we're spread all around America as well as all around the world. Race, everything is just, and we're able to have these conversations amongst each other, and that's pretty freaking awesome that we're able to do this. And the fact that some of us have never met one another, and we've been doing this for years and we're able to have these discussions about these hot button issues and do it in the manner in which we're doing it. So I just want to say that. So hey, feel free come join us. You'll be welcome. Not a safe space. I'm not saying it's a safe space, but you will be able to get your perspective out there. So with that being said, guys, also if you guys are here. Whether you're on this platform or on the other platform, please feel free to actually go ahead and I want you guys to go ahead and jump right in, but before you do so, click the link up top, download the podcast, follow the podcast, and we're going to take it from there. So with that being said, who wants to jump in next?
Hey Jay,
Anyone?
Me,
can I?
Francis.
Can
Go
I?
ahead,
Francis.
David. Go. No, no.
Francis
There's
from
there's
Clubhouse.
there's a woman. There was a woman's voice.
Francis,
Who's
that
that?
was me.
Oh,
Let's
So
go.
just the federal charges is not just on George Floyd, is also on a 14-year-old that he supposedly held and didn't allow him to leave. So it's not just on George Floyd, the federal charges. That's all I wanted to say.
What?
That's not true.
What the hell are you talking about? Who?
George Chauvin pled guilty to the federal charges. He was found guilty by a state jury of his peers
No, what
on
14
the.
year old? What 14-year old? What are we talking about?
So if you look at the federal charges that he pled guilty to, is not just on George Floyd, is what I'm saying. There was other charges included
Okay.
in that deal.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Okay, yep.
Jonathan, I think what that person is trying to say, but it was not in the charges they pled to, is the at the time the person who took the video was 14, but Chauvin had nothing to do with that. It was Officer Tran, who was the one who was yelling at the 14-year-old, who's now what, 17 or 18. So I think that person, whoever is speaking, has the confused as to who was doing what.
All right. All right. So, so as I stated before, just to provide some clarity, there are both federal and state charges. I believe he got 21 and a half years for the federal charges, 22 years for the state charges, the state of Minnesota. And so the president of the United States can pardon on the federal charges, but he cannot pardon for the state charges. That's up to the state or the board of pardons, depending on which state you're in. So I just want to, the governor or the board of pardons, depending on the state that you're in. So I just want to put that out there. All right. DaGod IB, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm in the building, man. Peace.
Let's
Yo,
do
check
it.
this out. I think, right, that Elon Musk should be made to apologize to the African American community in the United States. Why do I say that? Because a couple years back, right, they had a basketball player by the name of Kyrie that retweeted something that really offended the Jewish community, right? And he was made to basically apologize, even though he wasn't the one who was the originator of the tweet. He just retweeted it. This case with George Floyd was perhaps one of the biggest cases in the last 20 or 30 years dealing with human rights. Not only civil rights, but human rights. And it was most impactful to the black community, right? And I think by him tweeting that, it was very offensive. And he should, if he really didn't mean anything malice by it, he should apologize. And I know a lot of people probably gonna disagree with me, but I think he should. Peace.
Anyone disagrees with him? Anyone agrees with him? Let's hear from it. Anyone agrees? Anyone disagrees? Anyone have a perspective on what he just said? Because what? Let me just say this right here. I think the fact that given Elon Musk's proximity to the president, I think that's problematic. All right. People have been fired. A lot of people have been fired for retweeting or sharing a tweet from someone else. And basically, I think for Musk to have done that, and I'm just wondering, and, what's the White House position on it? To have reshare, I mean, yes, to retweet something like that. I mean, guys, listen to me. Ben Shapiro is pretty much advocating that there be no punishment for this crime, and that hey, he's advocating that this was a result of fentanyl, even though the gentleman we watched the video. I'm trying to withhold my opinion for a little longer, but I do believe that when you are representing an employer or anyone and you do something like that, you should be held accountable. That I will say that I don't know about the apology. I'm not going as far as the apology, but I think that there's some accountability when you take and you retweet something like that, especially if you retweet it in the way that was retweeted. I mean, retweeted. So that's how I feel. 100%. I think this. I think that this is. It's can be pretty problematic. Had this been any other regular administration, had this been any other situation, whether it was a CEO or a CFO or someone of a corporation doing something like that, I think the board would actually respond and make some demands real fast, and there will actually be, I guess, they would actually put out press statements, pretty much distancing themselves from that action. What's troubling is we haven't seen any of that. We haven't seen any of that yet, and that's the part that's I think is pretty troubling. That this has been normalized, and the response that you would expect to see when something like this happens, not happening. So that's where I'm at with it, man.
So I got one more thing to say though. Secondly, if you followed this case, right, you should know that the medical examiner ruled out fentanyl as the cause of death. right? It may have been a contributing factor, but it was not the main cause of death. The main cause of death was them stopping him from being able to breathe by standing on him and by the other officers holding him down and not allowing him to get up in a position where he could breathe. Peace.
And let me offer a point of clarification. Apparently, I said his foot and not
But
his knee.
knee, it's a knee.
Exactly. So I stand corrected, Andrew. Are you happy now? You finally found one thing. It still does not negate what I said.
I also stand corrected, Jonathan. When Chauvin pled guilty, he pled guilty to two different incidents. And there was an incident where he caused bodily harm to a 14-year-old. I just posted it in the chat. So that is what the person from Clubhouse was saying. So he
Thank
pled
you.
guilty to two different incidents in that one plea deal.
Here, guys, here's the thing. As we look at this, we George Floyd's record has been examined. It's out there, and Derek Chauvin's record has been examined. But it seems like more people are familiar with George Floyd's record than they are Derek Chauvin's record. Derek Chauvin was no choir boy, and what he has done, and things that he's been accused of previously by the public that he serves. So Derek Chauvin wasn't a choir boy, and that was a horrible death, guys. Now, essentially, what he did was he had his knee on him, on his body, on his neck, on his chest, and every time every time George Floyd took a breath, because of that pressure, okay, and he inhaled, it was like a constrictor. His chest cannot go out because every time he breathed, he got closer and closer to death because his chest was not able to expand and go out. All right, and every time he took a breath, it just it was he was able to. It was less and less air coming in because of that knee and the pressure being applied. So like a constrictor, if a boa constrictor constricts around you every time you breathe, it takes in, and pretty soon there's no room for expansion and you suffocate. That's what happened. It's a pretty horrible death, and it happened on camera front of a lot of people. So when Elon advocates or retweets, okay, to me he's advocating, okay, for the release. When you retweet something like that, you agree with what's going on here. So that's how I feel about it. Daphne, Christine, you've been very quiet as my co-host. You need to chime in on this.
I remember specifically how quickly his wife left him before dinner would have been ready on the table,
I forgot
as she
about that.
should. As she should.
I forgot all about that. Okay, and your take.
Yeah, no, this is really just it was an awful, awful incident. And no, it's kind of like the poll. I don't want to really weigh in until I like to really hear what everyone has to say about it. And what happened today.
Look, I'd like to say one more thing. I think both of them contribute to his death. The knee alone would not have killed him. The drugs alone would not have killed him. Together, man's dead. They both are it's not
Andrew,
one or the
that's
other.
not
It's
true.
both.
He
Oh my
died
God.
by
That is
asphyxiation.
so not true.
He was in the back of the cop car, and then Shogun came to the other side and pulled him out of the cop car and put him on the ground. Why did he pull him out of the car? Like
Forgot
he
all
was
about
in
that,
the
Tina.
car
I don't know why he pulled him out of the car. Was it because somebody
to
was
kill
resisting
him,
arrest or
to
something
kill
like that?
him, to murder him. I'm sick of
Okay, so
keeping
you
my
think he
mouth
was trying
shut.
to put him in the car, and he thought, you know what? I just want to murder this guy. So what I'm going
Why
to do
did
is
he
pull him
yank
out of the
him
car, put
out?
him in the.
Why did he yank him out and put him on the ground
Oh my god,
and
I'm
put
not going
his
to do this
knee
with you,
on his
Tina.
neck?
You know what?
Okay, don't
I'm
argue
seriously
then.
not going to do this with you.
Don't, don't. I watched it with my own two eyes. I
Can I
watched that
speak?
man murder him. I'm sorry, y'all. It's the first time I ever spoke, but
It
We're
is
cool.
Tina. This is the
Hmm.
first time you ever spoke. Welcome to Debate the News.
Yeah, welcome to
Okay,
debate. Welcome to debate
welcome
the
to Debate the
news.
News because you came off mic, Tina. Ha! I love it. We love it.
We love it. You know what? I have something to say to Daphne because Daphne, you said the poll, you have to see the results of the poll before you can decide. And I'm over here thinking,
Oh, that's not what I
didn't you
said.
see the
I don't
video?
know what I said.
Didn't you
Maybe
see the
maybe
video?
maybe you
And
didn't
you're
hear me.
looking to see some results of the poll. That
No,
was interesting. Tell us more.
I maybe you misheard. I said much like Jonathan had said about waiting for the poll, I was interested in hearing everyone else's opinion before I weighed in.
Oh, okay. I did misunderstand. For some
Oh,
reason, I
no
thought
problem.
you didn't know what you were going to weigh in about until you saw the results of the poll, as opposed to you wanted to make sure the poll was over before you had a chance to weigh in just because you were being
No,
respectful to the
John
room.
wants the poll over. John,
No, the
John had
poll's been
mentioned the
over. The
poll.
poll, I gave the poll already. The poll's already
Right,
done.
right. And I was just,
Yeah,
I said,
I
much
guess she
like
was
you had done,
asking.
like with
She
that,
was
I was
asking at the
just,
moment because we're a few years away from that. How did you feel? That's what she wants to know. And that's what everyone wants to know. That's what the chat and everyone wants to know.
oh, I got you.
Okay,
By the way, for
one
those of
second.
you that have only
Shauna, 1 second.
No, let Shauna go ahead, John, please. Really. Go ahead, Shauna.
for those of you that want to see everything, including all the body cam footage, the trial was live. So you can go on YouTube and watch each day of the trial, and you can see what the body cam footage showed, where he was dragged across the back seat of a car and put onto the ground. You can see what he was saying when they tried to detain him. You can see everything in all the testimony and in all the body cam footage. Because someone might have to correct me, but I believe there were 7 cops body cam footage. It might have been 9. It was a few years ago, so I'm a little fuzzy on that one. But you can even see one of the cops telling Chauvin to let him go. So you got to be very careful with what you say against other people. And Tina, what you said was correct and 100%.
And so, what
Actually,
do you
I do.
believe
I
the
want to go back to
poll will
Tina.
say
Tina, because
about?
you quiet. You muted out because you were, Well, Tina, tell us more. How'd you feel? I mean, how do you feel? And what are your thoughts about this retweet? Tina, are you there? Tina going twice. All right, so
Does
Tina's not
anybody?
there at
Can
the
I
moment.
speak, Jonathan?
Go ahead, DSkinnz.
What's up, y'all? I'm just going to speak on my opinion, honestly, about the situation. I'm kind
Go
of
ahead.
in fear of my life as a black man, a young black man, that we're going back to the times where people fought for us. Honestly, with Trump giving police back immunity, you don't know what's going to happen to us. Even the simplest things can cause outrage, in my opinion. That's why I was so against Trump becoming in office. Once he said his plan of, I forgot what it was called. Jonathan, what was Trump's plan he made? It was called like it was something where like I forgot what the plan name was Prop called. 2025 or whatever it was. Yeah, that plan. Once I saw that, that was like the big deal breaker for me. And I don't see how people can support that, giving police back their immunity, with that was targeted to us, which is very very hurtful. But that's all I had to say, Jonathan.
Yeah,
Can I speak?
go ahead. Who's that?
Yeah, Jonathan, I'm Caleb.
Go ahead,
Eh,
Caleb.
Gentleman who just speak now, afraid for his life because they give power to police. Do you think we have a black police officer too? Don't you think that?
What was that? Repeat it again.
So the power they give to the police, it's include also for black police. It's not only white police. It's for everybody. When we have a black police officer too. Do you know that, right?
I mean, we do have there's good cops and there's bad cops, but the bad cops are going to,
Caleb, what's your question, Caleb? I mean, what do you have to say?
Well, like I agree the power they give to the police because we have also black police. So I don't think it's something for black people to be afraid because they give too much power to the police because white police will get power, but black police will also get power. This is what I wanna say.
Right. We get it. Yeah, and sometimes they're worse. But I wanted to add this, and we haven't even spoke about this at all. I heard there's a movement for them to delete. There's some database that has the police officers that have been, have misconduct. I don't know, Rachelle, if can you speak to that? Like, this is something that Trump is advocating. They want to get rid of the database that shows all of the cops that are out here basically reckless breaking the law. So you have that, and now you have this. I mean, you're sending signals to me that are un-American, and it's not just. This is not how our country is supposed to be run. We don't want to be. We don't want to have people in positions of power advocating for someone that was found guilty of murder. Talking about, oh, let's give him a pardon. I mean, we had issues with J6 being pardoned. You know, you guys wanted to throw every BLM member behind bars, but oh no, J6ers, it's okay, let them go. It's the selective justice that just kills me.
When
And
you say you guys, I mean, hopefully you're speaking about the administration, correct?
the administration and people that are okay with these ideologies. Like there should be way more people, I think, on this stage that have a problem with Elon Musk sending that retweet. I resonate with what DaGod said and what you said. People have retweeted stuff or liked certain posts that are in a position where they should not be having these
I
opinions. Again, these guys need to take some leadership theory and really understand what it means to be a leader because they're not. So with that, I
I
yield.
agree, and I think
Can I say
something
something?
about inciting protests
Go ahead.
actually, and inciting protests in a weird way is that's like the summary for me for Elon's tweet. So I appreciate Divine what you said. Yeah, thank you for letting me go, whoever that was.
No problem. I don't think that the people that's not saying anything, I don't think that they will because their privilege is attached to it, and this is the way they feel. Uh, I think that even the people that's usually speak inside of this room that isn't right, that's in power, I think that their silence speaks volumes, right? Because being a black man and being on the other side of the spectrum, we get the shorter end of the stick. This isn't something that's unknown, right? This is something that we all know. But somehow, right, uh, it's okay for Derek Chauvin to, put his knee in someone's neck and feel the guy take his last breath. Anyone that participated in any sport, they know when you're holding someone, you can feel their breath, right? And we're talking about trained professionals. We're not talking about someone that, don't know what they're doing. So this guy, he knew exactly what he was doing. Um, he killed him. He killed him. And, you know, it's unfortunate because we have people that have positions that's in power and they don't say anything. So, your silence, right? It just it just confirms, your views. Don't think that because you're sitting idling and not saying anything um that no one notices because we see you. We see that you're not saying anything because right, those ideologies, those perspectives, right? When you guys are in private, that's how you feel, you know? Because when you're in those positions and you have the power to say something, you speak up because your counterparts, meaning the black community, we need you guys to speak up. We need you guys to say, hey, this is wrong. Hey, this is not right, because just because you have a hoodie, a pack of Skittles, and a iced tea, walking down the street from the store, you become a Trayvon Martin, right? Or you got a toy gun, you become a Tamir Rice, and that's okay. That's okay as long as it's not your kids or your family. But as soon as this type of stuff happens to Caucasian kids, then people won't see it the same. And we know that this stuff is something that isn't just it's uniform. You got this stuff happening all over the country. So there's systems in place. Well, the police has been put in place in a time where people that look like me, they weren't the favorite. They were the police was put in place for to herd them in, to keep them in check. So some of those same ideologies, right, has changed, but a lot of them are still in place. A lot of them are deep embedded into the fabrics of America, and every day, all the time. You cut the news on and you see someone who looks like me, who dressed like me. I fit the description because I have a hoodie, because I dress a certain way, because my pants a certain way. Not realizing that I'm just part of a culture, right? It's just not yours. If I had, if I had a, if I had a whatever, tie dye, whatever the case may be in the 70s, you'll say I'm a hippie. If I had, something else, you'll say that I'm a part of a different culture. I'm part of the Jewish culture or whatever the case may be. But for some reason, the black community were demonized in every aspect, right? And that's the inner workings of America, how America stays thriving. We have to keep, poor people poor. We have to keep, certain people criminalized in order for the rich to stay rich, for certain systems to stay in place, so people can go to jail because it's big business, it's profitable, right? So don't sit and think that, oh, nobody knows, because there are plenty of cops who plant drugs, right? Plenty of them plant drugs on people and build careers, go
Okay.
home and
Yep.
tell their family, let me finish, right? And I'm not talking about something that I think I'm talking about something that I experienced. I seen my friends, lives cut short, way smarter than me, way savvier than me. They just didn't know how to navigate through certain things at certain times, as well as I was able to. And their lives was ruined, because of cops, right? Because of certain things or whatever the case may be. My community, we don't view police the same way that the Caucasians do, because the liberties aren't the same. What they mean to
Okay.
you guys they don't mean that to us.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Wow. Thank you for that submission, man. I can feel it. I definitely can feel it. Anyone else over there on CH waiting to speak before we come back over across the street here?
Hey, Jonathan, this is Mariana. Before I head
Got it.
out to
Got it.
bed, if I can say something.
Yes, of course.
Um, he says something. Those that are quiet are probably, agreeing with this. And I just want you to know, I don't. I don't agree with this. I think it is disgusting. I think what Elon Musk did just to retweet that is supporting that. And I just can't even think and imagine that someone can agree with this and can actually justify. Even if they didn't watch the video for the first time, but they go back and watch the video and watch every little thing like Shauna mentioned, they can't deny that this person killed this man and that he had no way to get out of it. Okay, so for those of you that supported these people, they support these people and they support this president, you heard him say that he will kill somebody and people will still support him. So this is what's happening in this country. And people are like blind and deaf. It's almost like they don't hear and they don't see. It's mind boggling to me. And when I watch and I go back to listen and read about the history of Hitler, this is like a resample of everything that Hitler did. So think about it, you guys. When you go into your bed tonight, have a little conversation with your pillow and with your heart and dig deeper and what the things that you're saying and the choices that you are making. And with that, I'm done.
Appreciate that, Mariana. Yeah, absolutely, guys. So, hey, guys, yeah, wow. First of all, got a couple good, great submissions back to back. So, the person from club over at CH
Ray.
definitely appreciate your submission. And you're right about the silence do speak a lot. But what I want to say to you guys is this right here, that you know, where do you go from here? What do you do? I mean, when you look at this and you have Elon Musk that's able to share this, and and let's just say something. Like Cindy came in here, she spoke. She's like, no, dead wrong. Brian came here, spoke. Hey, it's dead wrong. There's a lot of people came in and spoke and said dead wrong. Okay, so everyone's not sitting silent or refusing to answer about how they feel about it. That's not everyone. That's only a select few folks. So let's not, come here and paint everyone with the same brush, because for the most part, people have opened up and spoken about it. Some of the most vocal people in here has done that. So have done that. So don't take the few actions or the few refuse to answer, and use that for everyone else. Okay, that's probably protecting their privilege, as you guys say. That's not everyone. So I just don't want everyone in here that's sitting in this audience just that's enjoying the conversation, because some people are here to enjoy the conversation. All right. So with that being said, anyone else wants to jump in? Anyone else have anything they want
Jonathan,
Can
I
I jump
will.
in there,
I
John?
did,
Or
Jonathan.
Jedi?
Let's go with Makita, and then we go to Jedi.
All right.
Yes. So I think that there is a time and a place for everything. And these conversations that we have in here, they're not, none of them are small. We have some very in-depth conversations with various perspectives. And I appreciate everything that you said, Jonathan, but also to the gentleman who was speaking from over on CH. I'm glad that you said what you said because it's how you feel. However, for me, sometimes I don't need to say anything because I don't want to take away from what you are sharing or what you're saying, or when other people are sharing things. If I don't feel like I can contribute in a certain way to the conversation, I may choose not to say anything. Also, and I'm just speaking on this, I may not have a certain level of knowledge either when it comes to certain things. So I may be sitting and listening and reading articles or tweets and trying to gather information, or choose that now is not the time for me to speak up. But like you said, Jonathan, it doesn't mean that my silence means one thing or the other. So I just wanted to say that I do appreciate, the conversation that we're having. And I do want to say that just because I choose not to speak on a particular topic doesn't mean I lean one way or the other. It just may mean that, as you mentioned before, some of us may not have that information. I don't have a certain degree in certain things. I haven't spent the time learning about others. And even on a topic like this, there are some things that I want to look at before I weigh in. And I want to make sure that when I do contribute, that it means something. I don't want to just be shouting and talking just to do it. So that's what I wanted to say.
All right,
Um.
okay, appreciate that. Well, yeah, 100%. I definitely appreciate that. Who else? Jedi, you're next. Let's go.
All right. Well, first I want to say that this whole thing with Elon retweeting this is just despicable. To argue that this man wasn't killed by having a knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds is just it's just stupid to me. It just doesn't make any sense. Um, Also, this character assassination of George Floyd. This is the thing. We didn't choose George Floyd. Derek Chauvin chose George Floyd. It wasn't like we said, "Hey, let's choose the most upstanding black person or black man to kill, so that this will make a point to this nation." No, he chose this man, and regardless of what he's done in the past, no mammal, no person does not deserve to have a knee on the neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. As a matter of fact, Dave Chappelle did a special called 846. It's about the amount of time Derek Chauvin had his knee on his neck. I don't know of any mammal that can survive having a knee on its neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And then to try to argue, oh, yeah, it wasn't that. It's something else that killed him. It's ludicrous to me. It just doesn't make any sense. It shows me, to me, it seems like it's a point of not having compassion and just kind of making an excuse for not taking in the realization that people are actually doing this in America and someone's actually doing this and we're actually seeing this on camera. Some people, I guess this is really hard for them to fathom that, even though they saw it with their own eyes. I land.
Jonathan, I'll add something. You know, we assume that Derek Chauvin knows what he's doing. Does he also know how to cover it up?
Okay. What do you mean?
I don't think that fentanyl's just there. How do I put it? If he wants to cover up a murder, inject the body with fentanyl.
Daphne, you had a response there. What was that? Talk to us about that response. You mic'd up.
No, what I said, no, I didn't. I wasn't expecting a conspiracy theory this late in the game. That's all. To assume that someone would have injected a body later. That's what I heard.
Okay.
That was crazy talk. Okay. So he was asphyxiated with pressure on his trachea and larynx for almost 9 minutes. And you think an injection of fentanyl could have been the cause of death that was
No, no,
planted?
didn't say it. Didn't say it's
Okay.
not the cause of death. I'm saying, do you think that he wants to cover it up?
How do
Rachelle.
you cover up being on camera killing somebody? What are you talking
You,
about?
you, you try and instead blame it on fentanyl.
Did you
He's
miss the
talking
part
about the
about
cause of
the?
death.
I know, but did you miss the part about how he was on camera for
So
nine
you
minutes?
obscure the cause of death.
What? Oh
Yeah,
my
but
gosh!
What?
but if the
I
body
don't think you understand.
if the body's no longer pumping blood, go ahead, Dr. Catherine.
Yeah, I mean, this is just basic cardiopulmonary physiology that is back to airway, breathing, circulation. If you aren't getting oxygen in your airway and you're not breathing, you don't have a circulatory sense of blood flow to your brainstem and you can't breathe and you die. And your brain is dead within 6 minutes of not having adequate oxygen to it. Those are facts.
So I think
I
what
think
he's
he
trying
was
to
being
say, one
misunderstood.
mic,
Yeah,
one
go
mic,
ahead.
one mic. I think what he's trying to say is Derek Chauvin did in fact kill George Floyd, but he believes that Derek Chauvin could have, after the death, introduced fentanyl to his body and to obscure to try and attempt to obscure what happened, and you know most of that was done on camera. That would have to be done, you know, and the paramedic, I guess, and the paramedics are at the hospital or whatever. I don't see that being feasible. You know, how do you get it in the body? I mean, the blood's no longer flowing. Maybe Dr. Catherine can speak to that. So I don't see that as feasible. I think I see what you're saying. You're saying that, you know, you're saying you know you're certain he killed him, but you also believe he may have tried to cover that up as well. That's what you're saying, correct, sir?
Not saying not against it. I'm just saying that is a possibility. That people try and cover up murder.
Absolutely, I get that. No, 100%. No,
Hold on.
interesting.
What do you mean you get that? Am I the only person in the room who is like, what is he
No,
saying?
that's what I said, Dr.
I,
Catherine.
Yeah, what do you
That's
mean
I
you
was like,
No,
get
what
I
the
said the
that?
what are
same,
we
Dr.
doing
Catherine. I
here?
said the same thing.
What?
Listen to me. I said I don't think it's feasible, Dr. Catherine. I said I don't think it's feasible, and I think you know it was on camera. And I said, where is he going to do it? What, in the back of the paramedical bill or at the hospital? I said all of that, and then I said even if you inject it
You're,
into the body, the body's no, the blood's no longer flowing. I said all of those things.
no, you're just validating his experience of a speculative, fictitious
No,
situation.
I no, I actually
Okay.
I invalidated 100% all the way around. I invalidated it. But go ahead, talk to me, Dr. Catherine.
I asked actually not you, but other people in the room, Jonathan, because I think we've heard enough from you. And I'm asking the other people in the room, did anybody quite feel like, yeah, we got that? Am I the only person who found that surprising?
No, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I just chose not to talk on it, Dr. Catherine, because we're giving it life to stupidity.
Oh,
Not you, your stupidity, the person who spoke stupidity,
but if a
and not
No, it's what we
Jonathan.
do
No,
here every night, though. We bring so
well,
much
Jonathan,
this,
he
life
Like
this,
you
to
he
guys
said
this,
he
stupidity.
believes the
misunderstanding what
room
he's
told me to
saying,
stupid.
but
yeah, this is Chad. I think y'all are missing what he's saying.
missing what he's saying. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, he's saying that yes, we saw the video, right? But sometimes, you know, police officers can make change the cause of death, right? Like it won't change the fact that he had his foot on his neck, right? But or his knee on his neck. But it is plausible, right? Could be. He didn't say that this is what happened, but to remove his guilt, right? He could blame it on the fentanyl. That he's just saying that it's a theory. He isn't saying that isn't a real thing. He didn't say that that was actually in the records because what we are actually hearing, why fentanyl even came up in the first place, is because people are trying to remove guilt from Chauvin and put it on back on George Floyd. So what he is saying is that I mean, basically, that's what we're seeing. That's why we're seeing that this case being relitigated in the public eye. So I think y'all are kind of missing his point and his theory.
That was a great interpretation of perspective. Thank you. It was.
Well
And
explained.
I take back everything I said about Elon before the freaking show started because it sounded like he was the one that was advocating for this. All the man did was repost and say something to think about. And quite frankly, I'm actually starting to become more appreciative of that because it brings life to the conversation. And this conversation has to be had because this crazy ass Ben Shapiro, who I really don't know, he just looks like a caricature to me. I can't listen to him, but our smoke should be for him. He's got a full blown petition for this guy. Like he's on
That
some
part.
serious stuff right now, you guys. And listen, if this is a way for us to be able to say, hell no, start writing your freaking representatives, then that's what we have to do. You can't make this shit up. There's a real petition. I would say the
Diana,
name. I listen, I
no
would
one
say
is
the
saying
name,
what
but
Ben Shapiro, that he's not the nutter. You are defending the guy
no,
who
listen, Dr.
reposted the
Catherine,
nutter's
this is,
tweet.
listen,
What
this
is
is more
that?
important. Listen to me. This guy, Ben Shapiro, on this freaking tweet has more than 24 million views on it in less than 24 hours. This
That's
is
because
crazy.
Elon retweeted it.
No, it's not because he retweeted it. This is something else. Go to this guy's thread. This is real life, you guys. If you guys haven't noticed, laws are moving in epic freaking speed, and they're utilizing these channels that we're on every single day. So absolutely we should be doing some shit about it. Are you guys crazy? I'm gonna be writing everybody in California tomorrow. Do you have any hold on, Dr. Catherine?
Wait,
I'm gonna land
and
my
what
plane and give right back to
Diana?
you.
Wow.
I'm gonna
Did Dr. Hope
give,
get to
give,
you? What is going
Diana,
listen.
Diana, what are
Hey,
you
you
writing
guys,
to the
listen.
people?
Y'all know I bite back.
I
Do you
Diana.
guys know?
I'm not mad
Let
at you, Diana.
me
I'm asking you, who would you
let
be
me
writing to
land.
about?
30
Sorry, Diana.
seconds.
Sorry,
Thank you.
sorry.
30 seconds. 15. Listen. I'm serious about the change that can be done through these channels that we're at. DTN is open for everybody to come and talk about this shit so we can do it in real life, right? That's the point, you guys. And listen, Elon is starting to give Darth Vader vibes like Vashon here called it, right? But he just made it sound like something to think about. And we should talk about it because this shit is moving down the legislation. In many ways, they're trying to protect police officers from freaking everything and give them immunity. And that's some bullshit that we should all be paying attention to. I land.
Wait, I just want to ask a question, and then it's probably hypothetical. So what I'm getting, you said, is they're trying to give police officers immunity, okay? And Elon is saying, hey, pardoning this cop, this officer, is something that we should think about because that's what they're trying to do anyway. I'm
Hey,
trying to
when
the logic.
I got a question. When
No,
on earth
that's
has
the
it
logic there.
said that we're trying to give police officers immunity? Can someone please post that in the
Oh, it was
chat?
on our ballot. I know what Diana's
Yeah,
talking about.
Trump called for it. I assure you, Andrew,
No,
that
he
Trump
said
called
that
for
if
it.
you kill a
Hold on,
cop,
hold
you
on.
get the
No,
death
no.
penalty.
Listen, hold on. You don't have all the information, so you asked a question.
Yeah,
So
I did. Yeah.
let me answer your question, so then you'll be
Okay,
more
thank you.
informed. Okay. So during Trump's campaign, and yes, we would have to research it, but I do assure you, I heard it with my own ears that Trump said and stated during his campaign, he hasn't said it recently, okay, not in this way, but that he was calling for complete immunity for police officers. I mean, they already have to some degree partial immunity, but also what I want to introduce into the conversation, because I haven't heard this brought up, and if we have any legal scholars in the room, I know that we have a few, I would love to discuss this, because there's a rule called the eggshell plaintiff rule that basically says that you are liable for you are liable for the consequences of your actions. This is the reason why they were able to put a man who did not pull the trigger and who was simply at a trap house or something like that, that had nothing to do with the killing of a cop, because there was someone else there that did the shooting. They know this and proved it, and they still put that guy to death. They still put him to death. So what I'm trying to understand is that even if George Floyd was on fentanyl, right? Even if that there is a negligence and a causation to what Chauvin did that caused his death. So I'm trying to figure out what is the plausible argument, because if I hit someone and they have a heart attack, based on this rule and this understanding of precedent, that they die, I am going to be on some level responsible for their homicide, even if it's simply negligent homicide. I don't
That's
understand what kind of argument they're presenting but it's a bunch of BS. And that's the reason why we should be skeptical, because we can look through all of our legal doctrine and look at previous court cases and find exact situations like this where people were found guilty of homicide on some level.
Yeah, what I think we call it here reasonably foreseeable. All right, and that's if you and I, Vashon, decide to go rob someone, and I give you, I mean, you have a gun, you let me know you have a gun, and you're like, yo, we're gonna scare them, and then we're gonna take their money. We're gonna take, I don't know, Andrew's money.
Who muted me? Don't do that. They muted all of us. Don't do that, guys. There we go.
JB, you're muted, guys. Don't
We
touch the button.
gotcha. We
No,
got.
no,
Thank
one
you.
second. Listen, if I get muted again, I'm just gonna start dropping people.
It
One,
was
one
an
second.
accidental unmute all, John.
I understand that, but
Right.
I just gotta take care of other stuff now. But I'll do it after this because when you do that, it causes just don't touch the buttons. All right, do not touch the
Just
buttons.
don't touch the buttons.
So yeah, because I
We're
don't want to do.
working on the
Yeah,
back end.
Oh
yeah.
my
Uh-huh.
God.
I had to do
Don't
that. I had to do
touch
that
the
to Musa.
buttons.
One second. I had to do that to Musa. All right, guys. So anyway, what? Yeah, because now the other people can't speak because you guys did that shit. So with that being said, um, if we went out and I'm in the kitchen grabbing a soda and everything's done and Andrew walks in and Vashon shoots Andrew, and I
Why you
had
gotta
no.
pick it? Why you gotta pick a victim?
No, I'm saying 1 second there. Vashon shoots Andrew and kills Andrew, even though I'm in the back getting a soda pop or whatever you guys call it out of the fridge and kills Andrew. And I walk out, I'm like, yo, you idiot, why'd you do that? I'm now responsible for Andrew's death for multiple reasons, but the conspiracy to possess a gun, going to the crime scene, it was reasonably foreseeable that if we took a loaded gun to the crime scene, that someone could be shot and killed. All right. And so because of that, if like when she said you punch someone in the face and they have a heart attack, it's reasonably foreseeable that if you hit someone like that and they fall, hit their head, whatever, that they can die. So yeah, you're responsible for that on some level. So, if you have someone without oxygen for nearly 9 minutes, okay, and you prevent them from breathing for nearly 9 minutes, it's reasonably foreseeable that that person it will not survive. So when you say that, no, when you say that, Vashon, you're absolutely correct. You guys call it the eggshell theory. We just say reasonably foreseeable because of the fact that we conspired together out of that conspiracy to rob something, to hurt someone, to do whatever. If someone got hurt and it's reasonably foreseeable, then we're responsible, or we're equally responsible. So I want to put that out there. So.
Okay,
Uh,
Jonathan, I want to throw something in there though, because that is one scenario. But there is also, like, when it comes to that eggshell plaintiff rule, it doesn't have to be necessarily reasonable, foreseeable, because you can be responsible for homicide when there is no intent. Like, so for instance, if I
that
am
was the example I
looking,
just gave. I gave that
I know, hold on, but
example.
I'm about to give you another example, Jonathan. So if I'm texting on my phone, okay, and I hit someone, right? I had no intention, right? I wasn't intending upon it. I am still responsible for that person's death. I'm responsible for their homicide. Now,
Well,
the
but
question could be the question in Derek's case could be, on what level of homicide is he? I don't know what he was. Do we know what he was convicted of?
which
Was it
case, Vashon? State?
the what was?
But Sean, before you go
Yeah.
any further,
Okay, go ahead.
if I'm texting on my phone and driving, it's reasonably foreseeable that I may hit someone. All
And
right,
it's illegal.
That's a good point.
And
That's
it's
a
okay.
good point.
illegal.
Never mind. Good point.
Yeah, I'm just.
And to answer Vashon's question, the Google machine tells me that he was sentenced to 22 and a half years after jurors found him guilty of second degree murder, third degree murder, and second degree manslaughter in 2023.
Stop touching the buttons,
Okay.
Stephanie.
And just really quickly on that, every state has different interpretation. Well, not every state, but states have different interpretations of homicide and what second degree is versus first degree and so forth. So that would have to be, looked at. But yeah, I don't,
Well,
you know,
Minnesota, they
I
wrapped
don't
them
know.
all up. Vashon.
Okay.
They covered every single one of them against him. The
Yeah.
jury found him
So
guilty of all of
yep.
them.
Yep. So guys, hey guys, real quick, guys, because I'm looking here at the podcast numbers as I speak to you guys. Hey, if you're in this room, guys, do me a favor. We like to come here 7 days a week, man. Even when we're tired, we try to get here. So make sure you guys are do it. We ask for one thing, a little bit of currency. We ask that you guys go up to the top, okay, and actually follow the podcast. Guys, follow the podcast. A lot of you guys, yeah, I found a couple people say, "Oh, I went," and I'm looking, I'm like, okay, because I can see what I look what neighborhoods. These things are. Yes, I can actually see what area, what state, what city. I can pull this stuff up and see like where they're being downloaded today. I hit the United States. It comes up, and I'm able to actually see what.
Mr. Bing will Google Earth your ass to find out if you downloaded that podcast. So you better
Yeah.
get to business, guys.
Yeah. So
Well,
anyway,
shout out the
I'm trying to pull
areas.
it. Yeah. So
Tell the
anyway,
people. Tell us where the people are from.
what's that? People from all over
Canada,
areas. I'm not going to tell you every
Washington,
city in the United
Washington
Colorado,
States.
D.C. is on there.
download.
Washington D.C.
We're
Yeah,
gonna shout out
Naples,
Dr.
Florida's on
Catherine
there.
from right
Yeah.
outside Chicago. Thanks for coming, Dr.
Chicago.
Catherine.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll
Here,
find
one
us
second.
on there.
But anyway, hold on. Let me just since you want to ask, I'll show you. But yeah. But anyway, folks, what I'm asking you guys to do is download the podcast. Okay. Download a few episodes. Follow it. Leave a review. Hey, and if you're listening to us at home, okay, on any of the platforms, whether it's iTunes or whether it's Apple, whatever. Oh, okay. We had a few downloads in that short period of time. And just make sure you guys, go out there and comment something, guys, because that's how we get noticed. That's how everyone gets to and share it. Share with your friends. Let your friends know, guys. And if you speak on this podcast, all right, when you are there, we go. I'm able to see cities now. All right. So once again, all right. So when you look at today's, we got Jersey, we got New York, Cali. Well, let me go to city. I'm gonna go to cities. Okay. Charlotte is making it. What you call it? That's
Or
looking for
North
Sean.
Carolina.
We got New York. We got guys. I can see everywhere. And looking here. I mean, I can go anywhere in the country. And I'm trying to find Chicago because it's a long list for New Jersey U.S. Concord, North Carolina, Smyrna, guys everywhere. I can see exactly who's DeKalb, Metuchen. Wow, this is Metuchen, Massachusetts. Metuchen, New Jersey. I used to live in Hawthorne, New Jersey. Okay, let's see here. Tremonton, Utah. I don't see. Let me see Chicago. Maybe I'm going so fast, guys. Silver Springs, Maryland. I know that's there. There, Riverside. Okay, let's see here. Wait a minute. Hold on. I saw Camden. I was like, someone from Camden, New Jersey, in the hood looking at us was Camden, South Carolina, Scottsdale, Arizona, guys everywhere. And earlier today, what I did was I actually was speaking to Auntie Yvonne, and she's like, I do it every day. And I pulled up Canada, and I was able to go into I think she's in Ontario and pull up Ottawa. Okay, I was able to go in there and pull up Ottawa, but once again, folks, make sure you guys are downloading it, and we appreciate it. Dr. Catherine, I'll look and see later on about the Chicago moving really fast. I don't want to take up the show on this important subject to look at that. But hey, if you're listening to us, download the Chatter Social app. You guys can download it on your Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and come join us. We do this approximately 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys come and join us. All you have to do is download the Chatter Social app. You come in here and argue with Dr. Catherine, myself, Daphne
And Auntie
Christine,
Yvonne.
Auntie Yvonne, I just brought up. Vashon, that was there
Oh,
just a
yeah.
little while ago, going at it. Danielle stays quiet until she has to, until she has to come off mic. Just everyone, guys, everyone here. We got Steph here. We got everyone here. Sir Jude, all of them. I'm trying to name some people that spoke tonight. Makita spoke tonight. Skald did that great Dateline. In the intro, we had positive saying Washington D.C.
And we
Once
can't
again,
ever forget about Divine
Diana,
holding it down every
Andrew,
night.
yeah, Rachelle. So those are some of the people that spoke tonight. Oh, I can't forget. I can't forget Tina. Tina came in and her first time speaking. First of all, Tina, how are you, Tina? This is your first time speaking here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Jonathan. I'm not so hot right now.
Yeah, I know
I've
you
been
sound. You're from down south, aren't you? Like North Carolina somewhere, huh?
No, I used to live down in Georgia, but I'm a
Georgia.
Columbus, Ohio girl.
Okay.
Buckeye State. I've been listening to Debate the News as a silent listener for a long time, like since 2022. I've
Wow.
never
Thank you.
spoke, but I'm in here every day since we've been on Chatter, and I absolutely love Debate the News.
Aw,
And I could not control myself tonight. It's something near and dear to my heart. It means a lot to me.
love
And
that.
I didn't mean to come off rude,
No, you weren't
honestly.
rude. You were honest.
You're
You were
passionate.
honest and passionate.
Yeah, listen, no skin off anyone's back. It's great to hear from you, and glad you piped in.
Yeah,
Best part.
yeah, go ahead. What were you
Thank
saying,
you.
Tina?
Thank you, Andrew. Jonathan, I appreciate you letting me speak.
No,
Um,
always. A star was born tonight. A star was born
That's
tonight.
right. DSkinnz
Yeah,
appreciates you,
I'm
Tina.
def. I'm a definitely come back to you. I remember the first night Andrew spoke and debate the news. He was a star
Wait, tell
instantly.
everybody what he said again. Andrew, why don't you tell everyone what it was that
I'll
you
tell you what Andrew said, guys, real quick. We were in debate the news, and I forget we were speaking about something, and with racism. And so Andrew came off mic. He was on the camera, and he said, hey, let me tell you something. White people didn't start racism. We ended it. And everyone started to lose their shit. And I like, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. We have a God speaking here, man. Because, yo,
Yeah,
a
he just
star was
gets
born that
louder.
night because here's the deal. If you can come in and be that honest and that and that forthright, I'm gonna let you speak. I want to hear your voice. And because I respect you
We
for
want the
having
world to
the
hear
views.
that.
So I was like, okay, everyone wanted to like, it's like 80 people jumped on him, but like, no, let this man talk, let him work, let him create. And so that's how it happens, guys. So if you come in and you want to listen, don't be afraid, jump right in. Tina jumped right in, and she's welcome. She's family now, man. So
Yeah.
and to find out that she's been listening for 3 years. That's wonderful, man. I appreciate it. So I have a question for you. All right. So who are
okay.
some of your who are some of your more memorable characters? Are the ones that you I don't want to ask favorites. Well, who are your favorite
Sometimes the most
characters?
hated are the
You know,
most favorite. You know what I
Who's
mean?
your favorite?
I remember you, Jonathan. I remember Daphne, Jerry, of course, Nelson, and nobody can't storm Grant. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
And you love
Okay.
Marty.
And I love Marty. I do. I love me some Marty. Marty Byrd.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we
Appreciate
I
you.
all
like
love
Appreciate
Marty.
you.
We all
and
love Marty.
all the beautiful ladies that speak on here. I love this place. And honestly, when I came off mic, it's not like I watched the video one time. I watched it and watched it. I watched the whole trial. So when it comes to George Floyd and Derek Chauvin and what really happened, like I do know what I'm talking about. I'm not just, come out my ass.
No, we don't want you coming out your ass. That probably wouldn't be too
That ain't gonna be
pleasant.
good.
That wasn't aromatically. No. So, so no, absolutely. Marty, are you there? Marty
Bro.
Bird, Marty,
I'm here,
Marty.
What's
bro.
up,
I'm
cowboy?
here.
Okay, meet Tina. She says she absolutely love herself some Marty. Say
Heck
hi
yeah,
to
man. I'm
Tina.
loving me some Tina. I've been following Tina for a while too. So I no, I love me some Tina, man. She's definitely always a supporter. I always scroll the stage to see who's here, who's not here. She's always here. Definitely appreciate you, Tina. Keep it coming. I'm glad we got to hear you tonight. Keep pressing that unmute button so we can hear more of you. I would gladly appreciate that.
Thank you, Marty.
Together,
Absolutely,
y'all are a
absolutely. Can I actually
team.
jump in the
Go,
conversation
go.
if
Let's
I
do it.
may?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, bro. I just need 90 seconds, right? Because one thing that you know me, I just like to lay things for what they are, what was said or what wasn't said, right? And one thing I don't agree with is 100% full immunity for police. Now, is that what Trump said? No. Right. And that's why I had to come off the mic because although I don't agree with it, I do want to make sure that for the listeners, people who are listening on this podcast, wherever they are, they do understand that that's not exactly what was said. Yes, there has been 3 recordings of where Trump said May 1st, 2024, Trump said we're going to give our police their power back and we're going to give them immunity from prosecution so they're not prosecuted from doing their job. July 27th, 2024, we're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job. A few days later, Trump clarified in July 31st interview that his immunity wouldn't extend to every single case of police misconduct. They proceeded to ask him about the officer who shot and killed Sonia Massey, a black Illinois woman who was killed in her home. And Trump said, well, you might not. He continued. He said, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different from cases than that. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And they asked Trump what would make the distinction between which officers should receive immunity and which ones shouldn't. And what he said was, well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. Trump answered, but I'm saying if I felt or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job, maybe with a crime or a bad mistake, an innocent mistake, there's a big difference between someone being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
Hey, Marty,
And
how does it
let
feel
me
to read this
one second.
back? Does it really make you think Trump's a really like
Holy
brilliant
shit, Dr.
speaker?
Catherine, help yourself and just stay on mute for a second. Thank you very much. The last thing that he says was he wants to increase vital liability protections for American law enforcement officers, promises the party will protect officers from frivolous lawsuits. Now, once again, Dr. Catherine, if you heard me begin in the beginning, I literally said I don't agree with full blanket immunity. The reason I even took the time to read this is so that the people listening understand that that's not what was said. And I specifically went into it so that, hey, if he turns around tomorrow and doubles down on his statement and says, hey, this is exactly what I mean, that I want to give blanket immunity, then that's then. But as of right now, the fact that that wasn't what was said, I just wanted to clear it up for those who are listening. Does it mean that I agree with it, that I want immunity, blanket immunity for police officers? No, I said it in the beginning and I'll say it again. I just wanted to clear up what was said so that people don't think that this is what it is.
So I got a
So,
question
Here's
for
what
you,
I
Marty.
tell
so
him.
2 points.
He's
let me
Really
jump
wrong,
quick,
by
in.
the
One
way.
mic,
Good,
one.
Marty.
Let me
Can
jump
I
in
ask Marty
Got
a
here.
a
quick
whole lot
question?
of
Can
words
I?
to say, a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, can I?
Can
I want to
I?
ask Marty just
One
a
second, one
quick
second. One mic
question.
on
No,
Dr.
actually, let
Catherine.
Dr. Catherine
One
respond.
mic on Dr.
Let's hear
Catherine,
from her.
guys.
Please, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
No, honestly, Marty, I couldn't follow your argument because you were talking about how there is immunity, there's not immunity, but you just reread the
No, you
crazy
just had
talk and
selective
you
hearing.
sounded
Actually, let's let
crazy.
somebody else respond who actually
Could
does
I
have a valid
respond,
response.
Marty? It's
Let's give
Tira.
yes, Tira. Thank you.
So let me just point out a couple of things. Number one, most police officers are charged under state law, not federal law. Donald
Yes.
Trump has no impact on state law. So most of this is just, bloviating in a lot of ways. Number
Yes.
two, the suggestion that he could make case by case decisions is a little ridiculous. That's not a legal framework,
Yep.
right? And so what he's actually suggesting is if it was a federal case, he might just tell his DOJ or whoever not to prosecute, right?
Yep.
In certain cases, which strikes me as really he's prejudging, right? That would be
Yes.
him
Continue.
prejudging whether the police officer had been guilty or not. Is that how we think that justice should happen in our country?
Absolutely not.
So I think that everything he's saying is not just, I think, wrong. It has no legal underpinning. And if you actually believe what he's saying, there is no legal framework. So what he's saying is, I alone will make the decision in every individual case about whether I feel the police officer is innocent or not beforehand. Beforehand. So I don't even understand this as a concept. I think it's really foolhardy. I think he's wrong. I think if you really listen to what he's saying, it doesn't make sense, quite frankly. And if it does make sense, it means he's putting himself as judge and jury. Thanks.
Oh no,
Can
Let me
I
Tira,
jump
one
in there
address
last
for
what
a
question
Marty
for
second.
you.
said?
Hold
He
on one
was
second,
Go
Tira.
addressing
ahead,
Let me
what
ask
I
you a
Marty.
brought
question.
up.
I just want to ask Tira a question, please, and thank you. Appreciate you. Because yes, Tira, you're absolutely correct on that. Once again, this wasn't me putting up a defense or anything like that. It's about clear. We jump in this room and sometimes we throw things out as factual statements. Now, Tira, with that, with everything that you know on this, has Trump came out and said he is basically 100%. What was the I done lost the goddamn word.
Immunity.
Immunity. Has Trump said
Good
he's
catch.
given all police officers full immunity? That's what I want to ask you.
Well, I think he said it once. He said it in the past. He's as with many. How do I say this?
Yeah, I read
Many
the three
things.
times. I actually read when
Donald
he said
Trump
it.
says things over and over, and he changes his stance when he says things different times. Right. So I don't hold him to some of the things he's saying because I don't think he understands what he's saying, or then he changes it anyway. His most recent, I think, statement was, well, it's case by case, right? But
Yep.
as I pointed out, I don't know if I don't know if next week he's
It's
going to
not
be saying
possible.
it's the first of all, it's not possible, or if it is possible, he's king, which
It's
I don't
possible
like.
by pardon.
Well, it's certainly would be
Well, that's
possible
by
by
pardon. That's after
pardon,
the fact.
which would be after the fact. He could do that, or he could look
You
at the
can
case.
pre-pardon.
He could pre-pardon, look at the fact that there's a case coming up that he thinks, but once again, he is then putting himself in the position of the judge and jury, which strikes me for this sort of police violence cases that we often see, not where you would want your president to be, right? I
Exactly.
don't think so. But I think Marty, he could just as easily tomorrow say, I think all police officers should have total immunity, and I wouldn't be surprised
Oh
because
no, and I'm with you right there too.
yeah.
That's what
Marty,
I said in the
Marty, let me ask you
beginning.
a question,
It's
Marty.
I
So,
got
based on everything you just read, right? Each one that you looked up and you added more and more layers to evolving comments or statements by Donald Trump.
hmm
In each one of those, he did mention immunity, right?
in the you
But
talking about
he
when they were asking him about Sonia Massey?
no. So each statement you read, the different dates for
Oh, the
different
three
statements.
different dates. Yeah.
Exactly. He
No,
mentioned the word immunity in all of them,
absolutely,
but his
absolutely.
but his but his alleged reason for why there would be immunity that evolved each time. My question is, why the hell does a police officer need immunity?
Now, see, that's the thing.
Like
I don't
at all, ever.
now, Rachelle.
Hmm?
Remember when we spoke about this in the past? The fact that police officers already right now have qualified immunity already. Even me, as someone with friends in
Not
law
in all
enforcement,
states, they do not.
not in all states. Yes, not in all states. The fact that most places right now, police do have qualified immunity.
Right.
I've spoken on how that is an issue. It's become an issue because, for example, you'll have an officer who gets caught red-handed doing something, and he'll have the option to just resign and be able to walk away. You understand what I'm saying? So that
Right.
already it has its issues within itself. So that's why I'm expressing the fact that it wasn't a defense. It's like it's the same way I clear up a lot of things that gets talked about. It's just when we throw out a statement, I just want to make sure we're saying exactly what it is and not on
Right.
speculation of what we think it is. That's all.
Right. So what I want to right, and that was my point because everything you read, he still said that they should have immunity, but he evolved his what he the reason could be for said immunity. So he still believes that immunity should be there. But I have a question to Jonathan and Daphne, because I know we're moving on. So you guys, what do you feel about this, Daphne? I think you wanted to wait. What do you feel about it? And then Jonathan.
I'm going to pass it over to Jonathan. I'm just pretty tired tonight.
No,
Thank
no,
you,
no.
Vashon.
I spoke. Dab, you did say you wait till later on to tell us how you felt. So
I know. I just am too tired to weigh in. Thank you.
you're too
Well, I wanted
tired.
to ask Marty a question because, and I do want to say that I think this is complex when you're listening to people speak and reading it verbatim. So he did try to backtrack, but his initial statement was that he wanted, let me make sure that I quoted correctly, that he wanted to ensure that police officers were immune, that had immunity from prosecution. So just because the words are not actually used, you have to use context and inferences to be able to come to that conclusion. So when he stated that the first time, now he did backtrack, so I will give you that. Okay. He did backtrack, but he said immunity from prosecution. So what that says is that police officers should not be liable for crimes that result in people's deaths because that was the context in which he was speaking on. So sometimes when we're reading something, we can't say, well, you didn't say that. And you have a lot of political and legal scholars that they reduce that particular statement to that. And I had put in the chat a while ago
Hmm.
where basically, yes, the interpretation of that is that he was calling for blanket immunity because as we stated that most officers to some degree legal or otherwise have had some varying degree of qualified immunity and which has been historically very hard to convict officers until we came into the day and age where we had cell phones. I do have a question. I mean, I know you may want to respond, but I do have a question for anybody who's a legal scholar in this room, because I'm not really sure what is the general basic definition of qualified immunity. Does that apply for criminal? Because in one way it
No,
says
it
it
does,
doesn't apply to
Vashon, it does
criminal
not apply
cases.
to criminal cases. Qualified
Okay.
immunity is only for civil cases.
That's what I thought. So are we saying, so to Marty's point though, now that I think that having that understanding, are we saying that right now that police officers are not immune for prosecution for acts that they may commit in the line of duty, because there's really no rule or precedent on paper for that, and they simply, just are
Yes.
charges are just never brought against them, and that's just how they have been able to escape prosecution in the
I
past?
don't think there's any state in which police officers cannot be charged
Yeah,
criminally
there's
for
currently nothing
criminal
like that.
acts. Right, nothing like that. They can be charged. In practice, often they are not for a variety of reasons, or the grand jury won't indict them or things like that. But there's no law that basically, there's no immunity law for criminal acts.
And
Okay.
Marty, I stand by the statement that I made, by the way. This is happening in Alabama right now. And all we need to know is that he's literally calling it immunity from prosecution. The fact that he is backtracking is even worse because it's already filtering to the states. If you're in Alabama, watch out for HB 202. This is literally called Back the Blue Protection Act. It changes how they view immunity for police officers and removes the willful part that they are currently able to prosecute them for. Okay, this is real stuff, you guys. So
Yeah.
I'll pass it back because I
No,
see you
yeah,
guys
yeah,
trying to land.
yeah. So here's the deal. Before we go, I want to go over to CH. And we have is Ray over there? Ray going once. Oh my God! You know what? Someone muted all, and that's why you don't touch.
Jonathan,
And Diana, you were
Jonathan, we
talking about the,
lost you.
and you
One,
were
one
talking.
second.
He's coming right
Oh,
back
there
though.
you are.
One
Sorry, we
second. Ray,
lost you.
yeah, 1 second. Ray, are you there? Ray.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, go ahead, guys. This is my nephew, by the way. Go ahead, Ray. Let's go.
What's up? I didn't.
What's
I
up?
just came in.
Someone said that you wanted to speak. I got a text.
No, I didn't want to speak, but I will. I will
Okay,
chime in
who else? Who
in a
wants to
minute.
speak over there? Emmanuel, who wants to speak? All right, Ray. Who else? I'm getting text messages that Emmanuel wants to speak. Who wants to speak? All right. So we're gonna leave CH alone. I got a lot of text messages. Malik, I got. All right. So there's no one in CH who wants to speak. All right, no problem. So I was getting messages that people wanted to speak. So all right, let's go back over here, guys. Who wants to jump in?
May I say something?
Go ahead, Gary.
Uh, the George Floyd situation, definitely disturbing, but
Noonie.
I would say that we're not, not everyone sees it as.
Noonies.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. 1 second. Credit. Your credit. Go ahead. Go ahead. Jump in, Gary.
Okay. I would say that not everyone will see it that way because, in so many different ways, they can give reasons to how they want to justify, or if not justify, just kind of make it not being what they may want to see it as a murder, or see it as the police officer having any impact on his death. And I was listening for a while, and I know that I'm born in the '60s, early '60s is when I was born, and I could hear some of the same things that, as I was coming up and as integration took place and a lot of things started happening. And I could see the reasoning and some of the same type of thoughts. So I do see that history repeats itself and that the behavior or the thought patterns of those who don't see it the same it's good that everybody is talking about it. Continue to talk about it. That's one thing. But then I heard someone says it also requires some type of action, and it does, because you have to pay attention to your local, what's happening locally. Someone mentioned Alabama. That's where I'm at, and you have to follow things and make a difference. We do make a difference. And even sometimes over time, where back in the 60s, where you could definitely, and I've said this in rooms and may have said it here, where the line was definitely very bright. I mean, dark. You could tell the black on one side, white on the other side, black and white on one side. And it took a lot of different people from various walks of life to get that civil rights thing pushed through. That doesn't change anything, because underlining behaviors in human behavior doesn't change in some ways. So when these things come up, I always say it's great that people speak their minds. It gives you a little insight as to some things haven't changed, and it may require some of the same actions that you've seen in the past resurface, just to make sure we don't go back. So continue to talk, continue to bring these type of topics to the surface, and just know that at some point it's going to require some action. Talking is not going to be enough, and it's going to require action, and you're going to have to collaborate with a lot of different people to bring some type of change.
All
So
right.
it's great that this conversation is being held. Thank you.
Jonathan, I
I,
got a question.
go ahead, Cindy.
Do you believe in law and order? I'm sorry, excuse me. Do you believe in law and order?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you believe that we need police, or do you believe that police should be defunded?
No, no, no. We definitely need police.
Okay. So, like everything else out there, doctors, lawyers, builders, accountants, mortgage guys, whatever business, you're always going to have good and you're always going to have bad, right?
Yes.
Okay. I personally thought what Trump was saying, and I could have misinterpreted completely, is he's trying to give them back their rights to feel like they can go out there and do their jobs correctly. Have they been abused the last 4 years out there? I
No.
can tell you in Massachusetts, in my state, yes. They're told to stand down, period. Stand down. So, because now they don't want to get sued, they're flying solo in Massachusetts. They have no protection with the union. So, I mean, if a cop's in a situation, look at guys, cops are putting their lives on the line every day for who? For us? To protect us? Or to protect themselves?
Yeah.
They're not going to become a cop because what? They're going to make $1 million a year?
But it's their fault though too, because they have this blue wall of silence where they actually protect their own amongst them who are
That's
doing
long
protect.
gone. That's besides the
No,
Carol
no,
Lee case in
that's in
Boston.
this country where they have that blue wall of silence, and they are cowards, and they don't call out the ones amongst them that are doing all these heinous acts. So now what they're doing is they're dealing with the backlash from it, and they can't do their jobs because of their own doing. So they have nobody to look at but themselves. It's not the public's fault that they're held to a high.
There was a time I agree that the men in blue they had a code of honor, and they all shut their mouths. Right? We all know that happened for many, 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 many decades. Now that's changed too. But I'm
That's
just saying.
incorrect.
Okay, okay, I'm incorrect.
Yeah.
It
Again,
hasn't changed,
Okay.
Sandy.
One
we
second, guys.
all
One second,
live
guys.
in different states. Remember that. And
Yeah.
different states are run differently. Period.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
Yeah.
have to understand that Donald Trump, in different settings, he says different things. So when he's in a rally in front of his supporters, he literally says immunity with no clarification. It is only when he's pressed in an interview setting and he's giving these examples that he start backtracking and trying to re-explain himself. But listen to him when he's in front of his supporters and he's at rallies. Those are his true words, and you got to take him at his true words. He gives no clarification when he's on that stage. He says it point blank, and he says it point and very clear. And anybody who's trying to read these words and trying to analyze what he's saying and all that, come on now. You guys got to have more sense than that.
Yeah. But Cindy, she does have a point when she speaks about the police. and I guess, but once again, just like she has a point, the other side has a perspective as well. The problem is we have police officers because most police officers, and I'll say it, most police officers, I say 85 whatever percent of police officers, they want to do their job and go home. They just want to make it home to their family. It's I even goes more, more than that. But there's the bad ones, that shouldn't be on the force. That really, really, really make it bad. The Derek Chauvins of the world that make it really, really bad. That make it people live in fear. So
Well,
I'll
don't
say
forget the
this.
old saying, Jonathan.
What's that?
The kid that wears the badge was usually the kid that was picked on, right? And those are
Exactly.
the ones that make the worst cops, right?
That
Because
is.
they throw that badge on, they become powerful.
Let me
Something
just,
that they never felt in their lives.
let me share something with you. I had a buddy. Um, His name's John. Okay, and I can't. I'm not gonna say. I almost said his last name. Oh man, I would have had to edit this whole thing. His name is John, and he wanted to be a police officer so bad. Okay, and John was a really good friend of mine. Really good friend of mine. John lived with me and everything else when we were younger. But John was like really biased, and he took the police exam, and his father got into some trouble some time ago, and so I think his father's in prison, or whatever. But John's a good looking kid. He looked like Christopher Reeve. I don't know if you guys know who he is, Superman. You know what I'm saying? He looked like Christopher Reeve. So John wanted to be a police officer so bad because his other buddy was a police officer, and his other buddy and John, and John was so like John grew up in Trenton, and so he was like a little jilted, and he wanted to be a Trenton police officer. We both grew up in Trenton. He was a white kid growing up in a inner city, and so it was tough for him. So he had some resentment there, and he kept failing the psych. Okay, and I'm glad John felt the psych. I'll be honest, with you, I'm glad John felt the psych because John would come, stories because John got into corrections afterwards, and he would come and tell me some of the stories, and I would just shake my damn head, and I'm like, "Yo, bro, you need to chill out." But I say that to say this: that John, they have psych exams, and they try to get and it catches a lot of people, and I know it works because it caught John. Okay, because John should have been a police officer, and he wasn't. John, I hope you don't hear this, but please, I hope you don't hear this because he's still like, even though we don't speak very often, that guy has been like rock solid. We've been friends for a long time, but yeah, but John, yeah, he shouldn't have been a police officer. And I'm glad because John probably would have hurt someone, out there. Not just people of color. He certainly would hurt people of color, but he would certainly hurt others as well because John, you know, um, he just had a bad experience growing up, and he was very resentful. And his buddy that was on the force, John had me, and then he has other buddy. His other buddy was white, and he was like say a lot of stuff, crazy stuff, and he filled John head up with that stuff. And John come back, and John would say some stuff like, "Hey, this or that, this happened," and I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." But anyway, I'll say this right here. You know, guys, most police officers are good, but the protection that's needed, and the reason people don't want immunity is not for those good police officers. It's for the bad ones. Okay. And trust me, it's not just white officers; it's black officers. Look what happened in Memphis, Tennessee. You guys saw what happened in Memphis, Tennessee, when those black officers beat and killed that black guy. You guys saw that, right? We agree on that, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
There was like three
Okay.
of them.
Yes.
Okay, no, but I'm talking about black officers. I mean, they
Yeah.
had a song. I mean, anyone know that song that they made about black police officers? Chaos One? Anyone? Anyone? There it is,
Black
guys.
cop,
I
Black
do.
cop,
black
black
cop,
cop,
black
black
cop, black
cop.
cop.
Yeah. All right,
I
y'all.
know
Yeah.
it.
So guys, listen to me. So I put that out there, but Derek Chauvin, in my opinion, he's a criminal. All right, he was a criminal long before he put his knee on George Floyd's neck. All right, and he should have been off the force a long time ago. The one thing is, once they make it over that hump and make it on the force, it's harder to get them off the force because they have the protection of the union. and the protection of that blue wall of silence. So and so Derek Chauvin should have been off the force a long time ago. He had a trainee out there. And that trainee, he could never work in policing again. He sat there, even though he asked Chauvin to, like, hey, should we give him? And Chauvin told him no. He was obligated to do something, but come on, you're new on the job. You don't want to mess that up, So, and I'm not making any excuse for that officer as well. I'm just saying that it's just a culture, and when you have that culture where that few can actually force others to sit in silence or endure, even when they know something's not right. That's a culture I think that needs to be revisited. So Derek Chauvin is a criminal. I think Elon retweeting this shouldn't have happened. Elon shouldn't have retweeted this. Also, guys, before we go, I want to address another thing. My co-host Daphne Christine, because I've gotten like 4 text messages, got stuff in the chat. We've done like a bunch of these shows on another platform about this very same topic, and she passionate, and they're recorded. You guys can go find them. The people that DTN over in DTN, you guys, and her views are very explicit and how she feels about it. Okay, they're there. She leaves no doubt about how she feels about it. All right. She felt like it was horrible. She spoke to that, and she spoke to it at length in every one of those rooms. So if you guys want, just go over there to DTN. You guys, that's hitting me up, texting, doing all other stuff. It's very explicit how she feels about it, and so I just want to put that out there for everyone that's been reaching out, asking about that. So just tonight, she's like, hey, you know what? It gets a little crazy in here. So with that being said, do we have
Wait, wait,
anything
wait.
else?
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say, let me just address a couple things, Jonathan, if I can,
Yeah,
please.
go ahead. Okay.
All
As we
right.
wrap it up.
Yeah, this is Luis Estrella. Whew. All right. So, quickly, to respond to Cindy's points that police officers go out there every day to protect us. No, they don't. That's actually not even a part of their official job. Their job isn't to protect and serve. The even notion of protect and serve was widely associated with police work and adopted by the Los Angeles Police Department in 1955. But that's actually not one of the responsibilities that they have. Their legal duty as police officers, specifically, and this is according to Warren versus District of Columbia in 1981, was specified as police do not have a constitutional duty to protect individuals from harm. Instead, their primary role is to enforce laws, investigate crime, maintain public order, and apprehend suspects. Okay? As someone who actually was brutalized and beat up by more than 17 police officers in East New York, and I took that ass whooping, beat them in court, and then went on to fight for police reform and actually met with the Department of Justice, met with multiple representatives, and got to ask them very specific and very pointed questions. Who do they answer to? Because you said there's so many police precincts in all of the country. Actually, there's more than 15,000 of them. And do you know who they respond to, or do you know who they report to? Not a goddamn person. Not even the government. They all individually run themselves like individually owned and operated businesses. Guess what? They're mercenaries with badges. You can't control them. The government can't control them. And actually, when I asked the Department of Justice, then how do you control them? We can only incentivize them. They can only give them benefits, saying, hey, if you guys do a good job and don't kill too many people, we'll give you a bonus. So miss me with the bullshit. With all due respect, I don't care if you guys have police friends. I don't care if you guys do a whole bunch of shindigs with police officers or you feel individual ways about them. I'm going to even take my experience away from it. But don't sit here and tell me that there's no longer a blue wall of silence when I was actually a victim to it. Okay? Cut the shit. This shit happens all around the country, all times. Eric Garner, Ramarley Graham, Jordan Davis, Sean Bell, Philando Castile. I can go on and on and on for days just with the names of people who have fallen to the sword of these people. And they got the blue wall of silence to protect them, and then they institutionalize whatever, defending them after the fact. Get out of here with that crap.
All right. Wow. All right. So as you guys noticed, I changed profiles. So yeah, wow. Good stuff there. All right, so I changed profiles, folks, because it is that time, man. It is definitely that. I want to make sure that, hey, guys, don't go nowhere. Hey, and CH, if we go down, we're coming right back up. CH, if we go down, we're coming right back up. I want to say, hey, thank each and every one of you guys for coming out tonight. This was a hard subject. It really was. And guys, we got through it. We got through it, and we did it, in a manner that I think we all can be proud of. We all were able to have the conversation and discussion. And like I said, this is a very diverse group, and I'm so freaking proud that we're able to, guys. Man, this is a microcosm of America, but here it is, man. We're able to have people, a very diverse group, people of different ages, different social economical backgrounds, people of different races, gender, and everything else, religions come in every night, guys, and we've been doing this for years. You guys don't know how special this is. You guys don't know how unique it is because you guys are used to it. But when America, I tell you this, when America sees it and hears it, okay, and the listeners out there all around the world that's listening, man, oh man, I know they wonder, like, how the hell, are they able to have these discussions and how are they pulling this off? So, guys, guess what? These are always heavy discussions and topics. It's either about politics, it's about something, a social issue, whatever. And we make it look easy. You make it look easy. So with that, I want to say thank each and every one of you guys for coming out. I want to say thank you to Cindy Stumpo. I want to say thank you to Davy Christine, my partner tonight. I want to thank you to Louis Australia for taking us out the way he did. I want to say thank you to Skald for that wonderful Dateline. Dr.Catherine, Tirah, as always. I'd like to thank you, Rachelle, Vashon, Tina, everyone else, guys. Until next time, we will see you guys back here again on Debate the News here on the Chatter social app. Make sure you guys download it if you guys want to join us, man. Hey, click that link up top. Click the link up top, folks. And make sure you guys download as many episodes as possible, guys. We love you guys. And until tomorrow, have a great day. And we're back.